Good evening there, and welcome to our latest Elite FPL podcast. We're going to be recapping on all the action from game week 30, and I'm joined by my good friend Stevo and Jason. How are we tonight, chaps?
Good evening, Dan. Good evening, Jason.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good. It's been a very extraordinary game week, and I'm not just talking about Arsenal beating United and keeping a clean sheet. I am talking about the fact that Jason is now 88th in the world. So we've got a player in the top 100 in the world. Quite an extraordinary achievement. But yeah, we're going to be talking all about that, recapping obviously on the results today, reflecting on that, and also looking back, well, mainly at the events of yesterday, because yesterday was just crazy. I always avoid the results, but this morning my jaw was just dropping and I was just like, wow. So if you're in the chat, please do say hello. Let us know how you got on with your game week and how your team did and what you're thinking going forward. So Stevo, if we just recap on the results from today, I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, hello everybody in chat. Now, before I start this, I want to thank everybody yesterday that joined me live doing my standard solo, quite literally live reaction to everything that happened as it did. And then, of course, Jason did his own private solo reactionary podcast as well. So we thank everybody that joined us for 2 Saturday evening podcasts. And I'm pretty sure most people think there's going to be a boxing match between me and Jason, but actually, ain't going to be happening. I'm in quite a calm mood. We're going to get onto that in a minute, but as Dan said, let's just reflect on today, because ironically, as ever, as I keep saying this, my differentials paid off again. But because a certain player for Jason yesterday blew up, it meant nothing. So we'll get onto that in a minute. I'm being calm. Inside, it's just raging inside my stomach, but at ease. So we started this morning at 12 o'clock. with Liverpool versus Burnley, and I was just at work and someone come up to me and went 1-0 Burnley, and I was just like, sorry, what? Yeah, 1-0. Huh? And then about a few seconds later, it's now 1-1. Of course it is. You all know how it ended. 4-2. Mane 2 goals. Firmino 2 goals. Gudmundsson scoring the last minute, and Dan's player Westwood scoring. You all know what's going to happen next week. Westwood is going to be starting for Dan in the blank game week. He's going to do nothing. So there's your points on the bench there. Salah, annoyingly, got an assist. I actually watched that on a mobile phone at work on my friend's phone and saw that. It was one of those FPL assists, not a true proper assist, but it doesn't matter. It still counts. But those Salah owners, I'm so annoyed that they're in the blank game week, because if they don't have the blank game week, his sales would be through the roof. The only reason why he's so highly owned at the moment still is that blank game week. On to the next game. Chelsea drawing at the death, I believe. Dan, is that correct with Hazard going? What was the timing of it?
Yeah, Eden Hazard right at the end. I predicted 1-1. I said, Wolves raised their game against the top 6 teams, and they obviously I had Patricio and Doherty on the bench, so it was kind of mixed emotions. When I heard Wolves were winning, I was happy from an Arsenal fan point of view, but then I was like, oh no, Doherty, Patricio on the bench. But yeah, 1-1. Knew it would be a tight game, but Hazard, obviously you've got him in. He's getting points, looking good again.
And it was the Jimenez-Jota double up again. What an excellent double up that is. And I've written down in my notes, a certain player, Ben Towler, he had Jota on the bench. But we're going to come on to that. We're going to reflect all on our Torbay Elite Mini League and obviously the Elite FPL, how it's all affected. Now then, lads, on to the final game. Now, I was at the gym. I had no idea what was going on. Went on the old website to check what the score was. It was at 71 minutes. 2-0? What on earth? Xhaka, Aubameyang with the 2 goals. Lacazette, 2 assists there. Dan, Jason, take it away.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling that confident before this game. but we do have a good record at home, as you said. We've only lost to Man City in the league at home all season. And yeah, I mean, you say about 2 Lacazette assists. To be honest with you, it was a long-range shot from Xhaka, and Lacazette really did win a penalty, and it was a soft penalty. I will admit that. I'm not like United fans that, they got the penalty against PSG and it's a definite penalty. I will admit it's a very soft penalty, but Aubameyang tucked it away. And yeah, Arsenal, United had quite a few chances. Leno made quite a few saves. Been playing really well of recent. Hope I haven't just jinxed him, but Socrates makes a big difference when he's actually on the pitch. He got booked in the first half. So I was thinking, here we go again, but he makes a big difference. Maitland-Niles played really well from a real-life perspective. But yeah, United, Lukaku had quite a few opportunities and he just wasn't as sharp as he's been recently. But pleased with the win, but there's still plenty of games to go. But it is nice because since Wednesday, all I've had is United fans telling me how we're going to get destroyed. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. That's getting tagged on Facebook and all these things. And well, Sunday evening, nobody's going to be tagging me in anything, so. But it's still a long way. I mean, people say about a favourable run-in, and people might start to think of maybe getting Leno in their team or Kolasinac and Aubameyang, but still always tough. There's nothing much in it now, so it's all to play for.
Hello, guys. Hard to swallow that game, actually, watching it. I would say that there was no standout performer for United. The whole team were looking like they were still in Paris. I genuinely don't know what David De Gea was thinking with that Xhaka goal, because no matter how many times you watch it back in high speed or slow motion, that ball didn't swerve that much. And it almost went down the middle of the goal. So whether he just completely misjudged where his goal was, which I think is probably what's happened. I've never seen a goalkeeper howler like that since the days of Blooming, I don't know. Name a bad goalkeeper. Tahibi. It was shocking. And then the penalty, it was soft. I mean, but United didn't take the chances. And ultimately that's what we paid the price for it. But yesterday was a great day, feeling good. Today it's been a very disappointing day FPL wise and for United. But we're gonna lose eventually, right? So it's about picking ourselves back up really after this defeat. Obviously it's a bit gutting that it's still up to Arsenal, but they deserve to win the game. I'm not gonna make any mention of the referee, who I think had a bad game, but that's not just for United. I thought he had a bad game overall for both teams. I think he was calling fouls. I think he had a bad game overall, but that's notwithstanding. The result is the result. Guys in chat, there's a lot of people in chat. There's a few names that I don't recognise, so welcome to the stream if you're new. John Harris is actually in chat. He's on a golf weekend. He can't chat much, but he's absolutely buzzing. Last I checked, he was on 92 points pre-Baps. I think he had Mane in his team. He's at the moment pre-Baps. He's level on points with me at the top of the Elite FPL Podcast League. So with the Baps coming in, I think Mane is going to get bonus 2. He's going to be going ahead of me. So we're going to have a new leader of the Elite FPL Podcast League. So massive congratulations!
No way. Really?
Massive congratulations to him. We'll get on to our individual teams shortly, but just a bit of a weird day, really. It's been a bit of a deflating Sunday.
That's perfect linkage into our teams. Let's get on with it. That's what people want to hear. They want to hear. I heard you yesterday, and I really when I was listening to the podcast this morning at 4 a.m. I just wanted to instantly respond when you said something along the lines of, I just can't wait to hear from Steve-O. So I've got your team up at the moment. You said you're 88th in the world, but last night you were 45th.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It is... I felt quite sorry for you in the sense of you did a live podcast last night. Yeah. you were quite literally speechless, and I found it quite extraordinary listening, because it was amazing to hear from a man who has gone from 320th in the world and climbed so many places to 45th. You're now 88th. Okay. How are you feeling now? Before we look at your team, how are you actually feeling now?
I mean, I was, just like I said, I was a bit just thrown back really at the way that I was expecting a green arrow, but not that much of a green arrow. And when Sterling got the third goal, I knew that I was on for a really, really good week. The weekend started really badly actually, and obviously with you owning Fabianski, and obviously you're not an advocate of Wan-Bissaka, the best right back in the world. No, but to be fair, it started off really bad the game week, and obviously then Pereira is also getting 2 points. The main thing was just the points just came from 3 players in my team: Vardy, Rondon, Sterling. Everyone else had a very average, poor game week, to be fair. Don't even get me started on Mo Salah. I'm absolutely sick of having him in my team. It seems like I'm a broken record. I keep saying he's not worth 13.5 million. He's not worth 13.5 million. You took the plunge. You took him out. You got a Mane in. I was thinking, I don't know if you heard on the podcast, I was so close to doing Son out, Mane in. So close for a -4. It would have paid off massively. It would have paid off. And, I didn't go with my gut on that one. Probably should have. But yeah, I've actually done that transfer now. So I've brought Mane in. It's goodbye Son. So I've got a guaranteed 9 players playing next week. Well, actually, I think 8, because one of them is punching. So what can I say? Paul Pogba, again, picking up that yellow card. He's on 1 point. I think he had a really poor game tonight. And Higuain, pretty anonymous in that game against Wolves, and Hazard coming to the rescue in the final couple of minutes of the game, final moments of the game. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. It's kind of a weird one, but where like I said, the majority of my points coming from 3 players. I'm very, very lucky that that I did captain Sterling, because my armband was on Salah. I would say it was about an hour before the deadline I decided, you know what, I've had it on Sterling all week and I've switched it to Salah. I'm going to switch it back to Sterling, and the gut feeling paid off. So there's that. But yeah, 85 points, a massive climb. I've got to be happy. I mean, why wouldn't I be? But could have been better. We've got Sorry, I just want to answer a few of the comments in chat. We've got a load of people talking in chat at the moment. So we got the regulars. We've got FPL Boona. We've got G-Wiz in chat as well. Welcome back to the stream, G-Wiz. We've got Sultan Saeed. We've got T-Tac. Welcome back. Nice to see you. We've got XYL, right, Loxero. XY Loxero in chat. I think you may be new to the podcast. 92 points. Nice. 92 points this week. Buzzing. Well done to you. John Harris, he's currently on a golf holiday, so he can't talk, but he just wanted to let us know that he's on a golf holiday. We've got Ryan Malone in chat. We've got Mick Lee. Welcome, guys. Vince Chapman. So, yeah, we've got a lot of the ones. Yassine's back in the chat as well. Leslie Chow. Is it impossible, Vince Chapman, to have a great game week with your team winning also? Sorry, is it impossible? Is it impossible to have a great game week with your team winning also? What do you mean?
I had a good game week. My team won.
Yeah, your team. Yeah,
I think what you're saying is that obviously if if your team wins,
oh
and
right,
your FPL
yeah, it is impossible.
Like
Yeah. I feel pretty bad after watching that United game. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Vince. I actually read it wrong. Sorry. Soft penalty. United hit the bar twice as well. Yeah. Even on shots, 2-0 is a bit unjust, but yeah, it is. But at the end of the day, one team took the chances. That's what it comes down to at football. One team takes the chances, they generally win the games. United they didn't look like. I don't want to talk about United but they just didn't look. They didn't look up for it. They didn't look like they wanted to score. They had the chances. They bottled it. Roll on next game. I'm also on 9 players. Just used my free transfer to do Sterling to Hazard. That's so Bruno. So you're gonna free hit in 32. Are you free hitting in 32? That's a lot. Well, no, you probably didn't lose value on Sterling. I probably wouldn't have done Sterling out, but it depends on what your plans are for the 32. Watched him getting subbed off. Was limping a little. Also, it's on Twitter. Trent Alexander-Arnold could be out injured. Well, it's a bit early. I haven't read anything yet. I hope not.
He didn't have the best game today against Dwight. Is it Dwight? Not Dwight Gale. Dwight McNeil, was it?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I watched that game. No, I thought he almost got an assist. He crossed it in, and I think it was Mane who took the ball from Robertson. It would have been a definite goal for Robertson, believe it or not. That would have been an absolute nightmare for me. But yeah, Mane's killed it. I mean, Steve-O started the game week. He'll get to his team in a second, but he started today in a quite a worrying state, really. But he's clawed back a lot of points from Hazard and Mane. He did mention that he had differentials on me, but you'll get into it in a minute. But a few of them didn't perform. But Jimenez, of all people, God, absolutely. Am I going to regret getting rid of him? Could well do. 101 season best, was 148k, now 55k before today. Don't think I'll drop too much after today. That's a really good rank. You're still looking at a respectable rank, Rooney, and Rune Christopherson. So yeah, I think he'll be fine for the next game, G-Wiz. We'll have to keep an eye on Twitter and other news outlets. Anyway, enough of me talking. God, I'm starting to get like Steve-O. We'll talk about your team now, Steve-O. Let's go and...
Whoa. We haven't even come on to like some of the main talking points what I got from yesterday. That's what I want to get off my chest. I don't care about my team. So, yeah, when I was listening to your podcast, a lot of people I heard were like saying, I wonder how Steve-O's feeling, all this malarkey. And if I'm completely honest with you, when I did the live reaction, if people actually watched it, the second I saw Vardy and Rondon in your team had done well, my instant reaction was, well, you saw me. It was just, well, my game week's over. It genuinely was over just because of them 2 players. Because Vardy got you 2 goals and an assist. Rondon got you a goal and an assist, and whatever bonus points they got. And I was just like, right, okay, well, I just can't see any of my players getting anywhere near that. And then I just could not be bothered to sit through or listen more to the point to the City game. So I put on my favourite TV show, and I just thought, the heartbeat starts racing. You're like, I've got to check, and went on the FPL site, and I just saw Sterling 2 goals, and I just smiled. I genuinely just smiled because I just went, well, okay, well, it's just going to be one of those game weeks. There's nothing I can do about that. I saw Aguero, who was my captain, get an assist, and I was like, oh yeah, please at least get me a minimum of a goal, Aguero. And then later that evening, I just clicked on the game again at full time, and I was just like, fair play to... I looked at it then from a real life perspective, not a fantasy perspective, because at that point, I'd already given up on this game week because of Vardy and Rondon. I just couldn't care less anymore. I was just like, well, I've resigned to the fact that, okay, Jason's done really, really well from Vardy and Rondon, and the flaming Sterling captain, I was really genuinely like quite happy for you, because I thought, don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting you to be going that high up in the rankings, but I thought, well, fair play to you, captains come through extraordinarily well, and it's just one of those freak game weeks where, let's be honest here, barring, like you've just said, those 3 players, your team has done atrociously, done really bad. And I actually looked at this. Sterling's only owned by 14% of players in the whole game. And if you had Sterling, now I know, was it FPL Boona? FPL Boona captained him, but Jack Gleeson didn't. He captained Vardy.
Vice was on Sterling, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. So, again, Sterling exploding with a hat-trick. It's just one of those things. I cannot do anything about that. I predicted that Vardy would do really well versus Fulham. He did. And as you saw on my live solo podcast, the fact that Cy Bellamy captained him and Jack Gleeson, brilliant captain choice. Absolutely phenomenal. They're playing the worst team in the league in Fulham. They leak goals left, right and centre. He was the obvious captain pick if you had him this week. Sterling, you already mentioned it. It was a case of, well, I've got an hour to go. Yeah, let's just switch the captaincy over. And I genuinely mean this. I'm genuinely so happy for you because it's like you were 45th in the world. You're now down to 88. It's just when players like you are doing so well this year. I keep saying this: when your luck's in, your luck's in. And I heard you last night say about one of the Sterling goals was a bit dodgy or something like that as well. You know, these things happen. There's nothing I can do. So, yeah, yesterday I was basically resigned to me having a bad game. But I knew for fact that I had a lot of differentials on you today. I only had 3 players playing yesterday. Oh, yeah, 3 players playing yesterday. You had quite a lot. You had 3, 4... 5, 6, 7 players playing, and sorry, I had 4 players, and you had 7 players playing. So I was like, do you know what? Because the way people that are watching this may think I'm mad, but I always look at it and just think, apart from some freak result player, i.e. Sterling, and getting the captaincy right, and Sterling getting a hat trick, I kind of look at it thinking, well, across the game week, normally with good players, they normally get like relatively similar results. And as we're about to go into a minute, actually, the ones without Sterling, so the players that actually haven't got Sterling, actually pretty much got very similar results points-wise. So when we click on my team, I'm on 45 at the moment, and all my differentials paid off today. Mane came through, Hazard came through, Jimenez came through. You know, unfortunately, incredibly, how we even scored 2 goals against Liverpool. We can never even score 2 goals against rubbish teams, let alone Liverpool, and we get 2 goals against them. So my double up Liverpool completely failed on me today. Pogba, Rashford, you know, who would have seen 2-0 to Arsenal? You know, it's mad. The form that United are in at the moment, okay, Arsenal's home record is extraordinary. I did say it'd be a tight game. I did think it was more edging towards United with their form, but it ended 2-0. You know, that 2-0 to me is like the equivalent of the Sterling hat-trick from a real-life perspective, in the sense of who would have seen Sterling getting a hat-trick? You know, who would have seen Arsenal winning 2-0? 2-1 maybe? You know, something along those lines, but 2-0? It's just one of those. So, I mean, looking at it today, I got 33, from a differential perspective, I got 33 points today on you. That's including bonus points. Now, overall, I'm going to end up actually a further 35 points behind you. Yesterday, it was 100 points, something like that, wasn't it, Jason?
You're gonna end up 33 points behind on what you were.
Behind you?
You're gonna have your 33 points worse off as of last week.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So, yeah, again, if it wasn't for the Sterling captaincy, I'm not going to keep banging on about it. I feel I've had a really good week. I genuinely feel I've actually had a very good week.
Well, you've had an average week, because the average is 52.9, I think, and no, 53.3 is the average in the top 10k. Overall, it's 46.1. So you've had above average overall, but nailed the average for the top 10k roughly.
Good, yeah. So I felt quite happy. You know, if Aguero got me 1 goal, I heard you yesterday saying he missed an absolute sitter with a header. You know, these things you can't control. So yeah, I just congratulate you. There's nothing, like I say, me personally, I've kind of resigned to the fact that I'm not going to get #1 spot in our elite FPLs. Sorry, the Torby Elite Blinking Mini League Cash League. I've already resigned myself that I'm not going to win it. So I want to get second spot. If I lose out on second spot, that's going to be worse than trailing you by. I'd rather trail you by 200 points and come second, and you end up really, really high in the rankings, than me lose that second spot. You know, I'm not going to enjoy that at all. I'm going to feel like I've had a really bad season. But yeah, rather than going on to third and fourth, let's talk to Dan, because Dan's been a bit quiet for obvious reasons. And Dan Fraser, take it away, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm really happy with the game week actually overall. I've had a good game week and the team have won as well today. But the thing I'm most happy about is the fact that I actually followed my own advice and I got Vardy, and I kept going on about Vardy during the week and how it was Brendan Rodgers' first home game and how he's been in good form and Fulham are terrible. And I just thought, just bring him in. You know, Jimenez had a tough game, obviously got an assist, but away to Chelsea is not easy. But yeah, Fraser, the thing with Fraser is that Wilson was fit, and Wilson and Fraser have been linking up really well this season. And I thought, you know what? A few game weeks back, Fraser was doing all right. He was ticking away. And yeah, it's just nice for a differential to pay off. And yeah, you know, Fraser, Vardy, Rondon, kept the faith with Rondon. He got a good goal and an FPL assist. I like that term, actually. It was very much off his knee to Perez, and Perez scored in a very entertaining game. So that was pleasing. I mean, yeah, Westwood on the bench getting a goal, but
I found out today that from a real life perspective, as a Burnley fan, I found out Everton were, well, when I watched it on Match of the, they were 2-0 up. That's just disgusting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Pickford had a bit of an erratic game. He did save a penalty. He had all this, because obviously he's a Sunderland lad. He had all this banter with the Newcastle fans, and like when he saved one shot, he was making a face to the Newcastle fans. There's been, you know, it was quite. I think they kind of got in his head a little bit because for the, I think one of the Perez goals, he deflected a shot straight back out, as you saw, and I think that played a big part in Everton's defeat, really, because going 2-0 up and then, I mean, Newcastle kind of, I know they're not your favourite team, but they have picked up with our mate Almiron and Rondon, Perez linking up. So yeah, please. But Anderson again. I mean, Cardiff beating West Ham 2-0. I didn't, you know, I watched Match of the Day and Anderson was just anonymous. And for the second week when I've been watching these highlights, because I don't know the scores when I watch the game, he's completely anonymous. And is he even playing? That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
so, you know.
Well, Dan, don't worry. As someone told me once, you don't know what you're talking about, Steve-O. His underlining statistics say that he's going to get me some goals. He's done nothing. Up yours.
Yeah, it's been a disaster. I mean, but I know what you're trying to say, but yeah, you know, the thing with me is I didn't get him in earlier in the season, and he punished me really. I got in Murray instead, and he really punished me. So I thought, you know what, they're playing some crap teams. You didn't have underlying stats, and you take you make your decisions. But Pereira, that's another disappointing one. Pereira and Anderson have been two of the biggest flops this season in comparison to some of my other transfers earlier in the season. So they've been disappointing. But yeah, you know, a good game week, a better game week than average. A green arrow. I'm just playing for fun now. Like I said before, I'm taking a few little risks. Haven't got anything to play for really in the mini league, but just playing for fun and keep on going, really.
I'm losing count on how many times Westwood's sitting on your bench with like 7 points, dude. Seriously, it's like it's becoming a bit of a trend now. We got a few people in chat asking a few questions. So FPL Boone is actually reacting to your praise of me. He's actually saying, "Where is Steve-O and who's this new guy?" But we've got a question, a genuine question. Would you captain Salah, Mane, or Wilson next week? Now, this is just a gut feeling, but out of those three,
Well, I'm already on.
Mane for me. He's the man in form. He's the man in form.
This is how FPL kind of my brain goes into like meltdown. So it's like I joked about with. I don't know if I said this on air or off air. I can't even think now. But I said to Dan about Westwood being on the bench. But next week he has to play him because it's the blank game week. He's going to do nothing.
Yeah.
It'd be the same with Mane. Mane's been scoring every single week, every single time that you feel like, oh, I should captain instead of Salah or whatever. He scores and outperforms Salah. The minute that we all decide, you know what, I'm going to go with Mane captain, he's going to blank. He's going to do absolutely nothing against Fulham. So, and Salah will be the one that just explodes. If I'm honest, in answer to that question, Salah. Despite his form, I just think that
one last captaincy for Salah before he goes goodbye. No, it's going to be Exodus after. You're going to go Salah as well?
Yeah, I mean, I did say Mane in my head, but it's like Steve-O says, you just know that.
Did you watch the game today?
I didn't watch it. No,
I watched the whole of the game, right? And I kid you not, it was the most frustrating thing ever. Everything he touched, his touch was off. His eye for passing was gone. Like he didn't make a pass in the final third. That was, I think he lost the ball about 50 times. It was just such a contrast from last season. And like I was literally just hammering my head against the wall, going, "Why do I still own Mo Salah?" You know, and I have got like plans to move him out, but you know that he's going to score a couple of goals in this game week, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, Mo Salah," you know, all is forgiven again.
From a genuine real life perspective, I don't normally like taking the podcast away from the FPL world, but from a genuine real life perspective, I heard it on this comment made on a very popular forum site podcast on their Breakfast Club yesterday. They made a point that I kind of agree with it. Do you think Klopp should actually bench Salah, just give him a blinking rest and let him just think about?
Yeah, because I think at the moment he's just playing him to try and for his confidence, like to try and for him to try and be in charge of his own. Yeah, if he was to get Paul Shaqiri sat there waiting to get his chance. I mean, if I was Klopp, then yeah, I would think about resting Salah because he just seems off at the moment, and I know it'd be an absolute scenes on Final Fantasy Scout if he was benched next week, but it wouldn't surprise me. It honestly would not surprise me if he's benched. I even today was waiting for the team sheets and I was thinking, please don't bench him, because I actually think at the moment he's not, to me, he's not earned his place in that team, in my opinion. And I know he's a big name and everything. He's the Egyptian king and all that, but he's certainly not. He's not performing better than Mane. He's certainly not performing better than Shaqiri. And when Shaqiri comes on, he's adding that energy. He's keeping the ball better. He's moving the ball around. I don't know. I just I think maybe a rest would be good. I hope he doesn't get rested, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe with the Champions League game coming up against Bayern Munich, after that game, we might sort of think, well, he's played in that game, and then we'll rest him against Fulham. That will be typical to get rested against Fulham.
The thing is, it's because of this whole title race. Like, if Klopp benches Salah and Liverpool don't win, it'll just be an absolute meltdown. Like, everyone will be pointing the finger at Klopp and stuff like that. But he's had so many chances that, I mean, over the last few weeks, he's just been getting one-on-one with keeper. And like last year, he'd be hammering it into the back of the net. He's just taking one too many touches. And it's almost like he's literally doesn't know what to do in front of goal. Honestly, it literally is like that. And you think, what has happened in these 5-6 months? He's literally changed from being an absolute assassin to being, I don't know, an Egyptian
Yeah. But I think just to quickly move through our Tour Elite one quickly, because I want to cover some of the key players in that. So third spot, Ben Towler. Pretty much all of his attacking players, barring two, did something. But look at his bench. Kolasinac and Jota on the bench. He played Snodgrass instead of Jota. Yeah, I get that. Wan-Bissaka is. I always say this: never bench premium defenders, and he played Wan-Bissaka out of Kolasinac. Again, there is logic to it, I suppose, but Ben kind of caught up with me, annoyingly. But oh well. And then moving on to just quickly going over, because we'll move on to the Elite FPL podcast in a second. Darren Monday, his bench is horrible, and one of the guys in our mini league, Dexter Roos, he used his bench boost. It's completely failed on him. But Darren Monday, he was certainly a player that should have used his bench boost, because he has got 18 points just sitting there. And he'll get bonus points for Jimenez as well. So that'll move up to 20 points just sat there on his bench. Unfortunately, he captained Salah today, so 43 points. But yeah, let's move on to that Elite FPL podcast, because I've seen some extraordinary scores. But what I do want to bring up to people's attention is Daniel Ash, that's moved up to third. We'll come on to John Harris in a minute. But Daniel Ash moves up to third spot. He played his bench boost. He had a blinder, 117 points he's got, and his bench boost paid off dividends. Boric, Rondon there on his bench. Felipe Anderson, Chilwell, but coming in today with Mane. Yeah, it's pretty much Mane that did something. Yeah, his team has done absolutely phenomenally, and he's moved up to 416th in the world as of last night. He's going to probably move up again further on. But yeah, let's move on to your rival. So you're telling me, Jason, that John's Harris has gone ahead of you?
That's correct. Yeah, John, as of right now, with the bonus as of right now, we're equal on points, but the bonus points for Mane are yet to come in. So, and he's also got Hazard. So Mane 2, Hazard. So he's going to get an extra 5 bonus points. So he's going to be 5 points clear of me, top of the Elite FPL Podcast League.
And where will he be overall rank?
I can let you know in 2 moments. Just give me a second. But yeah,
that's fine. So yeah, he actually benched Jimenez, but looking at his team, it all makes sense. And of course, John Harris, for anybody that doesn't know, he wildcarded last week, and he did, as I said last night, have the cojones to get rid of Salah and bring in Mane. He did. I mean, as you can imagine, he captained Sterling, a whopping 92 points. As Jason says, he's going to get a few bonus points coming in. Well, 3 bonus for Hazard, certainly 2 for Mane. I mean, again, well done, John. I mean, Jason.
61st.
60. We'll be getting him interviewed soon.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling about that, Jason? Are you just like, oh my god, or are you just like, no, I'm just riding the wave into the goodness that it is so far?
I mean, I can't feel bad about this week. I mean, it's been incredibly good. I mean, I've extended my lead in the Elite FPL. The Torbay Elite Cash League, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those. I mean, John Harris has absolutely made a cracking decision. He's done what I've been talking about for weeks. You've been talking about since God knows when. But he's got rid of Salah, and Salah is a dead weight. That's 13.5 million that I could spend better. And you know, I just wish I'd have done Santa Mane. It would have been nice and sweet. But you know, these are the things that you need to do to propel yourself up the rankings. Make the decisions that you feel. You know, if you're going to change your team, if someone's in your team that's tying up cash, and obviously Hazard being one of them as well. Recently, he's not been doing that great. He's a lot of money. Obviously, this week he's returned a goal, bonus points as well. But you know, if you feel you've got a player in your team that's holding up on that money, then don't be afraid to take him out and spread that funds or bring someone else in who you feel is going to do better, because wow, 92 plus 5, 97 points. It's an absolute brilliant game week for him. We've got a few people in chat as well asking a few things before we carry on. FPL Boone is actually asking a question, but first I'm going to go to Leslie Chow. Leslie Chow in chat is asking, will Pellegrini finally start Arnautovic versus Huddersfield?
Well, I read somewhere on, funny enough, that forum site we keep mentioning, that someone mentioned that ever since Arnautovic, I don't know, whatever the circumstances were regarding moving to China, Pellegrini hasn't liked that, and he just doesn't want to. Is that? Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what's making me laugh though? Is the fact that West Ham, their pre-season tour for next season is going to be in China. So Arnautovic will be there thinking, right, so I'm getting fit for the season with West Ham, but let's see what offers come in during the summer. It could be very a prosperous summer for Arnautovic. But yeah, he doesn't seem to have been too happy about that. So it's disappointing because West Ham, they got a good run of fixtures. Yesterday it was Cardiff and Huddersfield up next. And at home they've been pretty strong of recent times. So yeah, I mean, Hernandez, actually, thinking back as well, Hernandez got booked for a dive yesterday, which was atrocious. So there's a chance Arnautovic could start, but we're not mind readers. But maybe after such a poor defeat away to Cardiff, Arnautovic could be back in.
That's a good point. Lloyd AJ in chat. I agree with you, Dan. Absolutely, fully. I mean, we're not mind readers, but you'd like to think that the chance would be now after that defeat. Lloyd AJ in chat is asking a question, which I think is quite interesting. Is it worth to do a free hit next game week? I only have 7 to 8 players. No.
I don't rate GW31. Like I said on the last podcast, the team's in it. I think if you've got a free hit, like some people have, save it for game week 32. But that's just my advice, and I'm not the one sitting in the top 100 in the world. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely, Dan. I mean that is the popular thing at the moment. Free hits, game week 32, wild card, game week 34, bench boost, game week 35. So that seems to be the pretty much the most popular way forward for those who've got the three chips remaining. But I will say there's also another follow-on question about doing hits as well, taking hits for getting players in. And again, if you're going to use your free hit, then I wouldn't take hits for game week 31, put it that way. Not unless, obviously, game week 33, the same players are going to play. Unless you're really confident that they're going to return you the points. Someone was said in chat about if you go on the basis of 2 points, almost a hit costing you 2 points instead of 4 because you'd expect the 2 points minimum from that player. Who said that? That was Andy Salter in chat. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not adverse to taking hits. I think if you get a right player in, taking hits is more than worthwhile doing. It just like you've said, I don't think game week 31 is going to be anything to sing and dance about. I think the average is going to be about 25-30 points max. I would be very surprised if it's more than 30 points. The average is game week average for game week 31. But what about you, Steve-O?
Sorry, what?
The argument of taking point hits for game week towards game week 31 and playing your team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've got 2 free transfers. I've actually done one already. I did it this morning. I'm not going to reveal anything until the next game week, but I've already done one transfer already. Am I going to do another one? I'm about 50-50 because this particular game week 31 does not inspire me whatsoever. I said on a previous podcast that I think that depending on what your position is, I think really this game week 31 you should have a minimum of 8, a maximum of 10 without taking hits. I think taking hits to get 10 or 11, I just don't think it, me personally, just don't think it's worth. Because let's be honest here, the majority of the points will come from Liverpool and probably West Ham. Liverpool and West Ham, probably. The problem with West Ham is that the points could be scattered all over the place. There's no guaranteed point scorers other than Arnautovic if he's playing full minutes. Liverpool, we're all going to have the 3 maximum that we can have. Whatever combination we all have, we're all going to have 3 of them. Bournemouth's the interesting one. But again, we know where their points are coming from. It's just a case of which one of the 4. So it's going to be either Brooks, Fraser, Wilson or King. So it's going to be a gamble on which one you bring in for them. Dan's already brought in Fraser. Newcastle, I've already discussed at length about. I just don't care about them. Burnley versus Leicester. I'm not doing my predictions, but Burnley points will come. Well, no, they won't come from any. They'll come from Westwood or Ashley Barnes. Leicester, you're guaranteed it's going to come from Maddison or Vardy. Fulham, waste of time. Everton and Chelsea's the odd one, I think. FPL Boone has already gone into the Hazard, I say bandwagon. It's not much of a bandwagon, but I don't think he's... I know what Jason said, depending on Boone's strategy, getting rid of Sterling for Hazard at the moment sounds bad, and I agree with that. Hazard's away form is just terrible. Everton aren't a rubbish team. Hazard only performs against rubbish teams. Funny enough, someone tweeted out, it was Sid Lowe, if you know who that is, Spanish correspondent. He tweeted out about that this is Hazard's best ever season for combined goals and assists. And I had to comment, I just said, yeah, but it doesn't help. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do anything for FPL, though, because he's just so sporadic. So, yeah, in a long-winded way, as Dan likes to say, I just don't think it's worth taking hits for this particular game week. And certainly not a free hit. No, absolutely not. I think that is definitely should be used for game week 32 or whatever.
Yeah, Leslie Chow in chat has actually come up with a very good point. I'm going to bring it to you, Dan, actually, to answer. Newcastle, it's not a question, it's more of a statement, but I think it's something which you guys could, especially Dan, input on. Newcastle have Shah and potentially Lascelles out from suspension and injury retrospectively. Bournemouth, game week 31, could be a fixture where you may expect some goals.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I think getting Wilson, you've got Brooks back in there. Fraser's looking on form. Fraser and Wilson linking up. Fraser's in the list of top assisters or chance to create or whatever it is across Europe. So Fraser's looking really good. And yeah, I mean, Newcastle have been doing well defensively recently. Obviously, letting 2 goals yesterday, but before that, quite solid. And getting these new signings in seems to have lifted the team. But Lascelles is definitely a key defender for Newcastle. Very, very key player. So that could be, Wilson back in, Lascelles out. We're not doing our predictions now, but I think Bournemouth will win with that confidence boost of winning yesterday with their main man back. So, I mean, we're talking about captaincy or potential differential captains. If you've got the balls to do it, or the cojones to do it, I should say, Wilson could be interesting. So,
what I would add is that I think this particular blank game week, along with going into double game week 32, is going to be a fascinating scenario for a lot of us, because I played around today with a potential wild card for game week 32, and it ain't happening getting in treble Chelsea, City and United. It ain't happening. So we're all going to have to come up with various different combinations of what if City and Chelsea confirmed, but they're not even confirmed yet. I'd find it hilarious if the Premier League decides, do you know what, let's just put it in game week 36 or I don't know, whatever. Really mess everybody up. But yeah, I'm more fascinated about game week 30. I just can't wait to get this blank game week out of the way and concentrate on double
It's actually a question I wanted to ask you, because I talked about it in my solo reaction to this week. But it's quite obvious looking at your team that it strikes me that you're already preparing for game week 32. Obviously holding on to Jimenez. You've obviously got Rashford still and Pogba. So you set quite well with those players. Did you kind of write off? Maybe not so much this week, but are you completely writing off game week 31? Are you going to try and field eight or more? Are you? I know you done a transfer, but I just wanted to understand what your plans were, because it seems like you're not interested so much in this game week or next game week, and you're predominantly focused on 32.
Yeah, absolutely. I stated on our preview podcast the other day that I'm actually seriously tempted by, if I don't wildcard in 32, I am seriously tempted by triple captaining Lukaku. I mean, admittedly, I'll be doing a sideways move for Rashford out for Lukaku. I can afford it, but yeah, I've written off blank game week 31. I've got 7 players at the moment. I think that's pretty much what I'm going to do, unless I hear any news regarding this double game week. But ironically, I'm not going to hear anything till after this particular blank game. So I don't want to risk. I don't want to risk taking a points hit for game week 32, so to speak. So I'm more setting up for double game week 32 than I actually am for this blank game, because, as I just said, I just think that the players that are going to be playing in this particular game week, it's just going to be all over the place. It's going to be such random goal scorers, like, for instance, Perez, crying out loud, or who's the Fulham player that scored yesterday as well? Who was that?
Yeah, no, I that goal was so because I had Pereira and Schmeichel playing, and I once again didn't know watching it. Yeah, it was such a it was a good bit of skill when he took it in, but it was just such a sloppy goal. It's just the deflection, and that. It's just so, I was just watching it, thinking Fulham. I mean, Fulham are decent in attack actually. So on reflection, maybe I shouldn't have been too surprised, but I was just thinking, come on, Leicester, you gave me so many clean sheet points.
It was a needless goal.
Earlier in the season, and now against Fulham, I was just it's just not working for me. But yeah,
it was all Chilwell. It was all Chilwell's fault. Miko, you're right. It cost me and Pereira points, but then everyone's. Well, a lot of people own Pereira. Dan owns Schmeichel. So, It's
trouble up with Leicester yesterday, but, Vardy's still the main man.
Oh, yeah, Vardy. I mean, you made it, great. It was a great transfer. Steve-O actually applauded your transfers. It was a good week for you.
Yeah, I know.
And you've got a green arrow this week as well, up to 172,000. Obviously, you're not going to swing from the chandelier just yet, but... if you carry on, you'll be top 100k in the next few weeks, hopefully, especially with this double game week coming up.
That's the target.
Yeah, so I've kind of skipped through a few people's. We've got Clement LaRue saying, "Evening, I have one space to fill to get 11 players without a hit. Do I fill that space and use some of the cash in the bank? The plan was to get Laporte later. Not sure what to do." So obviously what he's saying is he's got some money in the bank. He was going to get Laporte. He's thinking against it now. Should he use that bit of cash to bring in another player to make 11 for next game week?
Bringing in Laporte. He's injured, isn't he? I thought he was out.
He's saving it for later on. So game week 32 onwards, I think he's on about.
Depend. I would. I would save the transfer. I just stick to 10 players. That's just me personally. Unless you're really that desperate to get rid of Laporte.
Yeah, I would do the same. Just save.
So Bellamy in chat. Simon Bellamy's in chat now. He's asking, "Do you think you can still catch me?"
Well, no. I don't know how far Sly's listening to how much Sly's listening to the pod, but I resigned the fact that I was too far behind Jason to catch. I was slowly eating away, but it's the as I mentioned, it's just the Sterling hat trick. The Vardy and Rondon, you could maybe not Rondon, because I admit I'll hold my hands up and say rubbish, but you know, he blanks for 2, then he scored, blanks for 2, and he scored yesterday, whatever. But Vardy was pretty easy to predict that he'd do very, and you captain himself, so that was pretty easy to predict that he'd do well. It was just the Sterling captaincy, and I just, like I said, I just smiled. I was just like, you know what?
But you're still less than 100 points away. You've still got your triple captain. Surely, you know, it's not all over. I mean, you got to still fight for that first.
Well, let's just put it this way:
I think he's just saying it. Don't worry, chat. He's still got the fire. He's still got the fire in his heart.
I've got the fire in my heart to do really well. Like I said, this is the best season I've ever had, you know, so to speak. But certainly with this high amount of overall players playing, this is by far the best season I've had. It's just that I certainly think that if Man City are confirmed to have their double game week 32, I reckon I'll be triple captain in Sterling, because they've got 2 phenomenal fixtures, and I think he is prime.
But it's like what you said when I triple captained Aguero and you captained Aguero, that whoever you triple captain, if I captain, it's not that great. Like, yeah. And that's the thing. So it's almost a case of, do you try to be clever and go for a less popular captain choice in a triple game week situation, and then, or run the risk of me captaining the same player as you, and you basically coming out with 15 points max on top. Yeah. So it's one of those situations where, you know, you've got an opportunity, but if it turns out we've got the same player as captain, then it's a bit of a crappy shit, really. So
could be interesting if you get to like the last few game weeks and like Steve-O's sort of caught you up a little bit, and then when we're doing the preview pod,
it'll be squeaky bum time.
You know, it will be. It could be a bit cloak and dagger when you're talking about transfer. That'll be good viewing actually. So maybe.
Yeah. Leslie Chow's actually asking you a question. He's actually telling you to do something, Dan. You should take his advice.
Oh.
Leslie Chow in chat saying, do the Wilson and Fraser double up, Dan.
Tempting, very tempting. Yeah, I was waxing lyrical about them earlier. That is very tempting.
You've been talking about it. It's time to. You've talked the talk. Now it's time to walk the walk, Dan. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, like the theme of it has been the last few weeks: take a few risks and look for differentials. I mean, Body's a bit of a differential in the mini league battle that I'm in at the moment with the players above me, but Fraser was a differential and that works, so I haven't got anything to lose really, so yeah, that could be worth doing. Cheers, mate.
It's all right. So I've scanned through loads of the comments. If you guys got anything else to add, or are we
no, I've got one more thing to add, in the sense of that I mentioned on the preview pod, and I mentioned in the solo one yesterday, that this particular game week for me was kind of like the last standings for certain players in my team. It was kind of giving me an indicator of moving forward how I would do, and I've come out of it relatively happy, despite, like I said, taking the Sterling captaincy out. So that's just freak scoring there. You know, what I find fascinating about people that play fantasy football, they seem to make out that players are going to get hat tricks every single week, or teams like City and United and Chelsea are going to beat teams 5, 6, 7-0. It doesn't happen. You know, this particular game week was just a freak result for Sterling captainers. Congratulations to you all. I feel sorry for the Vardy captainers, because they actually thought, do you know what, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm not going to captain Salah. It paid off, but then Sterling went and did what he did. You know, so I'm actually very happy coming out of this game week, despite what's happened regarding mine and Jason's mini league rivalry, so to speak. So, yeah, I think my famous quote, I think that's it, Dan. I think we've done it.
Yeah, no, pretty much. I mean, I'm happy with my game week as well. Happy that Arsenal got the win, so finally got that elusive green arrow. But yeah, if you've joined us in the chat, thanks for joining us once again. If you're watching it on the replay, give us some feedback, comment. And if you've really enjoyed what you've watched tonight, please do subscribe. It really does help us, and we're enjoying growing this community and seeing people come back again and again and talk with each other in the chat. And always great to see some new faces as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We're also on Twitter and Instagram as well, so you can catch extra videos, extra content. And we'll also tell you when we're going to be doing the next podcast as well. So look forward to seeing you all again soon, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good night, guys.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.